Hey everybody, welcome to GGS Railways. My name is Greg. This is my YouTube channel. Alright, tonight we're going to look at a Lionel number 517 standard gauge caboose. This guy was made anywhere from 1927 to 1940. They made him for quite a while. Last night we did a live stream, and for some reason this guy started being really wobbly and couldn't stay on the track, so I'm not sure what that is. Maybe the trucks just need to be re-riveted, or possibly we got a wheel sticking that's kind of binding. In any case, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get the camera zoomed in here in a little bit better vantage point. We're going to look at it together. Let's do it. All right, guys, so I have the camera zoomed in, and we can take a good look at this, see what's going on. There's a couple of things that it could be. It could be that these trucks are just simply so loose that inertia is causing the trains to tip over. That's actually a pretty good chance. Now, the other thing could be my tracks in there are not perfect, and you may notice that these wheels, well, they should be able to slide in and out. And if one is locked, or if more to the point, two are locked, like this one, then it's possible that could be our problem. Anyway, we're going to take all this apart. We're going to see what we see. I think in either case, we're probably going to replace these rivets because I think it's just about time. So my plan was to take these wheels and axles out, but I just noticed that they have a flange on this side and a flange on this side, so the only way to remove that axle would be to cut it. And we're not going to do that, so we're just going to make sure that these aren't binding, and we'll go from there. So that is very interesting. I did not know that was that way. I don't have that much experience in repairing standard gauge stuff. Frankly, it just doesn't break. So all right, so all these are moving pretty well, and I don't think that's going to be our problem. All right, well, so what we're going to do next then, we're just going to take these trucks off, and in order to do that, we're going to drill out the rivets. Now, to get to the rivets, you have to remove this roof, and the roof slides off, and it's kind of a mixed bag on if it's going to be easy or hard or what it's going to be. A lot of times you'll see these these standard gauge cabooses where the roof has already come off, and anyway, yeah, so you'll see a bunch for sale without the roof. So let's see. I've had this off before. I just don't remember how. So let's see. I think maybe, and I gotta be mindful of where my camera can see. Okay. Oh no. That is very interesting. So all right, it looks like he's actually starting to come off here already. So I guess we'll start where he's already coming off. How about that? So all right. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I said, this should slide, but it's not sliding. It's not sliding at all. And I can see why. It's got little tabs that keep it from sliding, but I know that I've slidden it before. Slidden it? Oh, that's some great English, Greg. So all right, I think I see what the deal is here. So I think you can get the front, and then maybe it'll slide off. Well, or not. Maybe it's just one of those. There we go. Well, you know, that was the that was probably the unprofessional way. But anyway, we got it done. So all right, so this is the inside. Don't know how much of that you can see or not see. And we got two little. These aren't actually look like they have retaining clips, and that's very interesting. So let's see what we can do to get those off. Maybe we don't have to drill anything. That'd be kind of nice. I don't really necessarily feel like drilling anything, do you? So these are these are very loose on here. This could actually possibly be our culprit for the loose trucks. So all right, so that one's off, and that one doesn't have a wire. So I'm going to remove that so I can show you guys. So this is what we got. This is nice and tight on the truck, but where it comes through here, where it was fastened, was really loose. Now I'm thinking that this is the truck that kept coming off the track. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with that exactly, but I bet we figure it out. All right, so I'm going to just do a little exploratory surgery here. So it's got a washer here in between the truck and the caboose itself. So all right, this is not coming off, and it seems like it ought to come off. Imagine that screwdriver I have is too big to get in here, but maybe not. Well, all right, it is kind of sort of coming. I feel like I need to get a smaller screwdriver to keep from injuring myself. I'll be right back. We'll do that. Okay, so I have the first truck out. It was held on the top by this retainer. It's kind of a funky little retainer, and I think that allowed a lot of movement. Then it had this washer between the staple here and the body of the caboose and the, I guess, and the truck. So now it's got these little pegs here. I'm going to attempt to bend out. Then we're going to get it separated. And what I think I want to do is I think I want to try to drill out this peg. And I think I probably want to replace it with a screw. And the reason I want to do that is because I think this is worn out. So all right, I got one side, I think. Let's work on this other side and see what we can do. Once again, this is not like working with with some of the other stuff we work with, where it's just very thin metal. This is very stout. So I'm trying to be careful and of course respectful at the same time of the way this is designed and built. Could not find my smaller screwdriver for some reason, but this is working. This may actually be working better than that would have anyway, because that probably wouldn't have been all that stout. So I did get that bent. It sounded kind of funky, but I did get it bent. So just trying to get it bent enough to where it will come out of there. I guess this is a stabilizer bar, is I guess what this is. So all right, I got one end out, which pretty much assures me that I can get the other end out. So all right, yes I did. And then we'll just bend these like we had the others, so it'll go back in. Very good. So okay, so now we have the staple, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's got kind of like a rivet type head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this probably with some vice grips or maybe these pliers, and then we're going to drill out this staple. So let's see, what kind of drill bit do you think we need? Let's see. Let's see. That one looks about right. Let's try it. All right, I'm going to move this guy out the way for a minute. I don't actually need him at the moment. So I'm going to try to hold this with this screwdriver. Kind of a small screwdriver, so I'm probably not going to have a lot of leverage, but I think it'll be enough. So I'm not applying a lot of pressure here because I don't want it to, want it to slip off and come get my fingers or something. Maybe a bigger drill bit. Don't seem to be able to knock that edge off. Oops, gotta have the pliers. You know, I'm no expert, but I think that other drill bit might have been pretty dull. All right, well, where did these drill bits come from? All right, so I think we may have it this time. Yes, we do. All right, so that's what the staple looked like. It was brass, apparently, and it is quite worn, so that probably did not help our problem any, regardless of if it was the problem or not. And we've already checked to see, to make sure that, you know, our wheels are moving freely on these axles, and they are, so that's not the problem. All right, so let's get some of this out of the way to start with, and then let's get this caboose laid over. I'm gonna get this folded over because I don't want to lay it in those metal shavings. It doesn't seem like a cool thing to do. So all right, so the plan is that I've got some nuts and bolts that are about the same size as this, and we're going to do a washer in between, and we'll basically have it like it was. It'll just be a lot tighter. So the challenge is going to be to get the screw in there, get this stabilizer bar back in, and get it all back together. But I think we can do it. I don't think we're going to have a great deal of problem. So let's get to it. All right, I'm back, and I got some screws, and I got some washers, and I got some nuts. And let's get to going here. So for those that like to know that kind of thing, this is just a number 10 machine bolt, and it just so happens that it goes in here pretty much perfect. You can thread it in, and that way we can get that cross piece in there without it falling out every few seconds, and that'll be nice. So that worked out pretty well for us, I think. So the next one's going to be a little more difficult because we've got an electrical issue because it's got a light on the back of the caboose. But you know, I have faith that we can do it. I don't think I'm scared of that. All right, so that's in there. So next, let's get this little crossbar back in that we took out, and using this one as a reference. Okay, the channel part goes down, and let's see which one of these looks like it's going to be the easiest to get in first. And it shouldn't matter, but I bet it does. So all right, scooch it on down. There's that word again, scooch. We talked about that the other night. Here in Texas, we kind of have our own little vocabulary. Scooch. All right, gonna bend this down best as I can with these pliers. We may need to get a different set of pliers, but for right now, this is what we have. So let's see. Well, that doesn't appear to be working. Actually, those were bent in. I was trying to make them go out. They do go in. They don't go out. If that makes any sense at all. And if I was even on the camera, I'm the world's worst about that, guys. I'm so sorry. All right, so this is what we're talking about. We're putting in this stabilizer bar, and we got it fastened back in. So there wasn't a lot more to that than that. So all right, so everything else here looks pretty good to me, and I don't see a reason why we can't put this back together. So originally, between the staple and the truck and the caboose itself was a washer, and I think we ought to continue in that tradition. Wow, these washers aren't open. Look at that. Well, you know, I'm not known for planning ahead on these, so yeah. All right, get this open. So I was reading a thing on YouTube and their algorithm and so forth today, and apparently the algorithm likes it if your videos are more than a certain length. Now, I'll just tell you that that's not what we strive for, and that's not what we're going for here, I promise. So all right, this is smaller than the one we had before. Wonder if it matters. I wonder if we got to just use the old one that we have. You know, I don't see why that would be a horrible idea. Do you? All right, let's do this. Just do it that way. How about that? So, all right. So these standard gauge, this iteration anyway, the couplers are built into the body, not the truck, so we don't need to worry about that. So, all right, let's get this nut on here. My goodness. Then that just didn't want to cooperate. So, all right. So normally, my first inclination on how to do this would have been a pop rivet, and probably maybe you're thinking the same thing. And the reason I didn't do that is because in case there is another problem that we don't know about just yet, we will have the option to take this back apart a lot more easily than had it been a rivet. So these are a little bit more stable. I wonder if it would help to put a washer on the top. I don't think it could hurt anything. It might help stabilize things a little bit. So now we're in the exploratory stage of everything here. So all right, we have washers. Why not? All right. So I grabbed the copper washers, which are typically for electric. I do have some others around here. I couldn't quite lay my eyes on them, but it's not like it's going to hurt it. It's not like we're going to run any marathons with it or anything like that. All right, so that looks pretty good, and it's not wobbly. Wow, that makes me really happy. So, all right, let me get this where I think we want it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a second nut. Well, if I can get this to go like I want it. And that way we can just kind of tighten the one nut to the other, and then it can't move. Well, not as easily anyway. So, all right. So in order to make this work correctly, we really should have had a nut driver. But for right this minute, I'm going to try it with these pliers. We'll see if it works or not. So, all right. No, I'm thinking that's pretty good. It's a little tight, but man, it loosened right back up. So let's see. Is that because the nuts came loose? All right. Let's see. All right, I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to go find the nut driver that goes with this nut, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. So I'm back and I have the nut driver, but it does not go over the nut. It's a cheapy nut driver. That's what I get. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I got this cranked down on the nut pretty good here. And you may have noticed that washer that came off of that original staple got a little ruffled. And I'm thinking that what we can do is we can lock down this nut, and then that washer, because it's ruffled like that, it will smooth out and work itself out. So let's see how that plan goes. I'm going to lock this washer, this nut in place with a little bit of super glue. Our good friend super glue. So, yep, that works. I do have some Loctite, but that would require going out in the garage. Don't feel like going in the garage. So, all right, got that on there. So let's see. We want to put the Q-tip somewhere that it doesn't get on everything. I'm going to go ahead and put the second nut on there, which is cheating a little bit, but that's okay. All right, those will lock together. So, okay, let me put away this super glue infested Q-tip before it sticks to something like me. All right, so we're going to let that glue for just a minute. So, all right, so on this other end, we got this electrical connection right here. And I just noticed I don't think it's even soldered. I think it's just looped through there. So that's really professional. I can promise you that we did not do that. And that's not the way it's going to go back on either. So, okay, let's see here. How are we going to do this? So I did see those little screwdrivers just a minute ago that I couldn't find earlier. All right. Okay. I think I see how this is going to work. Give me just a minute. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So I'm back, and I got this wire loose. Somebody just has it looped through here. That's not how it will be when we finish. I promise it won't. So, all right, I got that out. We'll just go ahead and pull it through until we're ready for it. No sense in having that in our way. So, all right, this will work exactly the same as the other one did. with the exception that we have the pickup here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do the same exercise. We're going to have to bend these little ears so this stabilizer will come out so we can get to the staple to drill it out. Now, in case it's not clear, the reason we're drilling the staple out is because the staple is worn out. So I mean, I don't want anybody to think that we're doing anything that we don't really need to do. So the best or the easiest way we found on the last one to do that is to take a small screwdriver, which we couldn't find on the last one, but I have now, and just pry this little retainer off the inside, and it comes off remarkably easy, or it did on the other side anyway. So maybe if I get from this end. Now I had a bigger screwdriver the first time, so maybe it seemed like I needed a smaller one, but maybe the big one was the ticket. In either case, I got it off. It's floating around in there, but it is off. So it could come out, please. Thank you. Oh, there it is. So, all right, yeah, that's, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the retainer. So as you can see, the truck's now off. So we're going to place the caboose body over here for safety. Keep it out of the way from Greg's shenanigans. So, all right. So I'm going to try to get these little guys sprung over, and probably with this smaller screwdriver, we'll find that this will be an easier task, I hope, because it was not an easier task before. So the thing with these is this is a lot stouter metal than most of us are probably used to working with. So it takes a little extra doing to get it to bend, because it is just a little bit extra stout. So all right, trying to do this without damaging myself or my cooktop or or the truck, and I think we're doing okay here. We just about got it. I think I got that side. Once you get it a little bit, you can take the pliers and bend them out just like so. So all right, I got that side. Then we just need to do this side. Okay. So let's see. Oh, I see why the wire was just looped through there. I think it's supposed to have a little screw right here. So all right, yes, somebody in a previous life has helped it. So all right, we may or may not see if we have that screw, and if we don't, well, I have a soldering iron. So interestingly, that light didn't flash or anything. So I guess say what you want, right? All right, so we got the cross piece all ready to come out here, and that actually turned out to be a lot easier than what I was expecting it to be on the first one anyway. So let's see, we just kind of fold this out a little bit, and it'll start to come up. Oh look, the axle came out. I said they didn't come out. Oh no, that's what I get for saying something. All right, well, come on out. That'll make my life a lot easier, actually. So, okay, cool deal. Oh, the back one's going to come out as well. I wonder why the front ones didn't come out. It kind of makes me wonder if maybe that front truck or this one has been replaced. Ponderous. It does seem as if they should match, doesn't it? I honestly don't know. So, all right, so we're going to take and we're going to drill out the staple, just like we did for the last one. I'm going to go ahead and take this washer off, which will bend it up pretty good. The smaller screwdriver will definitely help. If you skip past that point, we had misplaced him for a moment, but he's been found. So, okay. Somebody somewhere is screaming, "That's not the way you do that!" Well, that's the way we're going to do it. All right, ever so slowly. So in order to get the other one off, I had to bend it pretty good. So I don't have any illusions that this is going to be much different. So let's see, let's get a little bit bigger screwdriver going now that we got it pretty much going the way that we want it to go. see if we can't work this off. Looks like it's coming off. Actually looks like it's coming off better than the other one did. Alright, I believe, other than obstinates, it is more or less off. There we go. Alright, you like my descriptions of stuff being obstinate. Like a washer could be obstinate. Alright, so we're going to flatten it back out a little bit, because we're going to reuse it like we did on the other side. Alright, so in the meantime, I'm kind of interested, although I'm going to wipe off my hands, because I'm not interested in wiping off a bunch of gunk off my caboose. So did our other side seat up like we wanted it to? I believe it did, and I think that's pretty good. That is pretty doggone good. So alright, this I think is going to work. And I mean, it doesn't wobble enough to even speak about, so that's pretty cool. So alright, and that'll probably get looser here in a minute. We got the nuts locked together, so that's the main thing, so it won't get too loose. But I think that's pretty good. So alright, cool deal. Yay! Alright, so now all we gotta do is this one. And it took us forever to drill out the other staple. But I think my drill bit that I was using was actually worn out, which is interesting because to my knowledge, these drill bits have ever been used, but apparently that one had. All right, I think we're there. Get this to back up a little bit. There we go. Wow, that made a really, really short work of that, didn't it? Let's see if we can get it out now. I bet we can. I just bet we can. Alright. Come on, baby. Come on out of there. You have served us well, but you can come out now. Alright, well. Of course, this is going to be a pain. I can see just clear as day that it's not stuck by much. Well, you know, it can't just be real easy. I mean, because the other one was like super difficult. So, I mean, I'm sure that it doesn't want to be shown up by the other one. So, all right, I think I about got it. Although I thought that for the last, few minutes too. So, all right. I'm going to do this in a way that you guys can see, and I can do it all at the same time. It's not always easy, but that is the plan. I think it's working. I think. There we go. It's out. Yay. All right. Perfect. So, all right. So we have this number 10 machine screw once again. I believe he is a 1-inch screw, for those that like to know that. And what we found is that these thread into these trucks quite nicely. Quite nicely, which is important because we still have to put this piece back on. And if it didn't thread it back in there quite nicely, it would be a real pain in the butt to keep that screw in there and get this back into place and then get it all back together all at the same time because, yeah. Alright, so get the bolt through here. I think that this probably is going to work pretty well. You really wouldn't think that rolling stock would need to be maintained or repaired or really anything, but this pretty much tells you that, yeah, it does. Alright, let's get this washer on here. Now, I think I said that the first iteration of this caboose was 1927, so I mean, it's not without it's not without good reason that it's a little tired. All right. So let's put this in, and I think, but I'm not sure that this is the side that went that way, and I don't think it matters actually. The only thing that matters is the side that the screw goes, the wire goes in, and we can use that either way. So if that made any sense at all, sometimes I think out loud and I'm thinking, nobody's gonna know what the heck I'm saying. All right, so let's get this arm back in these little slots here. All right, so that's back in there. And then we just bend these little guys back down, which, as we discovered on the last one, is a lot easier than getting them out. So let's see. Do I have a way to maybe get them a little better than what they are, or no? I mean, normal people would probably be that's good enough. Just not normal. All right, that's, that's fine. Really, that's fine. It's not that picky. All right. So I think we got it pretty good here. One ear isn't laying down quite like I'd like it to. Let's see what we can do with this here. I feel like these pair of pliers here ought to remedy that. And it did. Not sure it was worth it, but I think it did. All right, good enough. All right. Oh, you know what we should have done? We should have put these wheels in first, but that's okay. I think we can still do it. And if not, well, it's not that hard to put that back in. So, all right, there we go with that. There's one. Pretty good. We got this guy here. All right, yes, these back trucks are very much different than the front ones were. So, all right, we're ready to put this back together. Much like we did the front, we'll have to get out the soldering iron here in a minute and solder that wire on for the pickup here. But I think we'll be good with that. All right, cool deal. Let's get to putting this back together. Just going to put that through there. And I'm going to move the top. I'm going to turn this over so possibly you guys can see what we're doing. I think it'd be nice if you guys could see. So, all right, so we did a washer, which helped stabilize it quite a bit. And we did one of the nuts. And we tightened it down as tight as we could possibly tighten it. And then what we found is when we move that truck around, it flattens that washer back out, and it works out pretty well. So, all right, that's a very technical process I just described. Frankly, I don't care how it works. I just want it to work. All right, so we got that, and it is pretty tight. Looking pretty good. So, all right, and we're going to do the same little exercise on this one that we did with the other, where we're going to get a Q-tip, which I don't have one over here, and and we're going to put it on the threads of that, and then we'll put another nut on there. That'll keep the two nuts from backing out. Let me go get a Q-tip. Be right back. All right, so back with the Q-tip, and let's see what we can do here. So, all right. Seems like that one went on a lot better than that first one went on. I'll just put that Q-tip in there for a moment. We'll get the second nut on here, and then we'll go from there. Don't feel like fighting with the super glue. Once again, there is Loctite. We could have used it for this. I do actually have some, just not up here. So, all right, I think we're good. Get that a little smidge more tight. I'm gonna get this Q-tip so it's not permanently in the the bottle of the super glue and not permanently stuck to something like my finger or God only knows what. All right. So that is looking pretty doggone good. I'm liking that quite a bit. So, all right, yes, that is very nice. Alright, so let's get this wire back through this hole. And like I said, we'll get out the soldering iron. We'll get this guy on there the way that I think he ought to go. So since we know this axle can come out, I think we'll take advantage of that. And we'll take it out. And that'll give us a lot easier access to what I need to solder here. So alright, let me get the soldering iron out and the flux and all that other good stuff. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, while we're waiting on this soldering iron to heat up, let's talk about this project and some of the things we did and some of the things that people may say. So there are going to be folks that are going to say that this was the wrong way to do this and we should have replaced those staples, and I agree. I totally agree. However, this locomotive, this caboose is far from perfect to start with. I mean, it will never be pristine, and you know, we play with our stuff. We play with it a lot. So, you know, I just can't see finding a new old stock staple, putting it on a caboose that we're going to run like crazy from now until eternity. And I can't see that. You know, you would do that in a full restoration type process. And, you know, if that part is available, I would rather that somebody that really needs that type of part have that part available to them, as opposed to us using it on this that we're just going to, you know, run around for our enjoyment. It's not going to sit on a shelf. It's not going to, you know, be in a museum, nothing like that. So, you know, you kind of got to consider what you're trying to do when you're doing it, you know, in the best way for you. You know, this was the best way for us. This is the easiest and the best way, both for the caboose and for us, to do this in a way that we can still run the caboose, and it'll be happy. We'll be happy. Life will be happy. And I mean, it just priorities. You know, it's what you want to do. And certainly, I'm not discouraging anybody from doing anything in a way that, you know, makes them happy or makes them feel good about it. But for us and for what we do, this is how we did it, and I'd do it this way again. So, all right, there you go. One thing about being on YouTube is you get a lot of opinions, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I want your opinions. I appreciate your opinions. All right, so I bet you that soldering iron was warm enough, and while I was talking, preaching, whatever, I was putting the flux on there, and so we ought to be ready. This ought to be able and ready to set some solder pretty easily, and this ought not be just a big deal. Sometimes things that we think aren't going to be a big deal are a big deal. All right, what is a big deal is my tip was not clean at all. And it will not work if it's not clean. So, all right, I think I've mused before, this is not the world's best soldering iron. It works, but not real great. So, all right, we got solder. And not sticking. Flux is not working yet. It's getting there though. The flux has to be semi-warm as well. Alright, I think I got it. Alright, we're going to let that cool down a little bit before we explore. Meantime, I'm going to get some of this solder that did actually stick pretty well. You know, it's always where you don't want it, right? So, alright. I think that's on there. That's on there really well. And we're ready to put that wheel back on there. So, all right, cool deal. Very happy about this. I'm liking that all the way around. So let's put this wheel back on. And then we can try to get this roof back on. I made kind of I won't say a fool of myself, but I sure didn't look too intelligent trying to get that roof off of there. It just was not intuitive to me. All right. So we are good. Just notice that I think we have a possibly bent axle, but if this works the way it's supposed to, it won't matter. So, all right. Yay. Yay us. So, all right, just to review, what we've done here is we have checked the axles and the wheels to make sure that they rotate independently of each other, make sure that they can travel, because otherwise if you have bends and curves in your track that shouldn't be there like we do, it will come off the track, because what happens is this locks and it just doesn't have enough room to maneuver the track, because, you know, if the track is in, I guess it's not that hard to figure out. Anyway, all right, so let's get this roof back on here. Speaking of things I don't know how to do or explain. So, all right. Kind of hope to not have this roof off ever again. Oh, you know what? I wonder if we ought to. Oh, I wonder if we ought to give those just a shot of oil or something, maybe. What do you think? That one seems okay. I'm gonna do it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back with the oil. I know some of you are probably cringing at the 3-in-1 oil, but for this, it's perfect. And we're just going to put it on that washer where that staple comes through, and I think that'll help it move a little bit better. Yes, it's actually already much better. So all right, cool. And then we might do another drop or so down here. So one of the things that I'm just now thinking about is these are panhead screws, and I mean, I guess it would probably take a long time, but I'm wondering if that panhead may at some point eat into the truck. I think that would probably take a long time if it happens. And as we saw with the drill bits, this is not soft metal, so I think it'll be okay. So this one's a little tighter than I really want it, but I think it's going to get there. I think it'll be okay. Yeah, got all kinds of garbage on my caboose here. All right. So the front one is flawless. The back one's still a little stiff, but I think it's going to get there. I think I didn't quite get the oil where I wanted it, frankly. I think that's where I want it. So, all right, hopefully I didn't pivot this to where it's off the camera. All right, that seems pretty good. All right, I think that's going to be good. I really do. So, all right, well, the proof is in the pudding. So I think what we ought to do is we ought to go take it in there and put it on the track and see what happens. And I think it's going to be good. Oh, I still got to put it on the roof, don't I? I got excited, didn't I? You know what, this stuff makes me like a little kid with the attention span of a little kid. All right, let's get the roof back on. Wow. So, all right. So the roof apparently is a lot easier to get on than it is off. So I can't quite explain that. I don't know why it was so difficult to get off, and it seems like it's so easy to get back on. So, all right, well, yay. Oh my goodness. So I think between now and when we put it on the track, we're going to wipe this down real good, because man, this guy is filthy. Wow, that's mine? No. All right, see you in the train room. All right, so we're back in the train room, and we have the caboose that we just did our little repair on here on the track, the standard gauge track, and we're going to fire them up and see what happens. I think it'll be a lot better. I do notice that it does not have much, if any, wobble now in the truck, so let's see if that helped. Let's do it. So it's going to want to go backwards. It likes going backwards. At least I can hear the E unit. If I can't hear the E unit, it's almost impossible for me to make it work. All right, so it did not click into forwards. Give it a minute. It is a little temperamental. One of these days, we're going to pop that open and we're going to switch the forwards and reverse because it likes to go in reverse. It does not like to go forwards. There it goes. All right. Proof is in the pudding. Let's see what happens. So what was happening last night is it wouldn't even make it around 4 or 5 times without totally messing up. So I don't see him wobbling a lot. He'll wobble when he hits a bad spot in the track, but other than that, he's not like just yesterday. He just looked like, if you're my age, he looked like a weeble, but he did fall down. All right, this is looking pretty good. All right, we're gonna let him run around just a few more times before we call this a success, but I can just tell you by the way he's riding that he's a lot happier. slow it down just a little bit. Alright guys, I'm ready to call this a success. We couldn't make it run this long at all last night. I mean, it was just every other lap around the track. He was messing up and locking up, and the trucks were turning and being weird. So alright. So back to what we did. We took out the old pegs for the trucks. We drilled them out and we put in a bolt and a nut, and we used one of the original washers and an aftermarket washer. And what we've done is we didn't drill out the actual trucks. We can always order that peg, or we can always replace that peg if we really wanted to. But I don't see a point. You know, like I was saying earlier, this is, you know, not anything that's, you know, going to be like, ooh, that's, you know, ultra rare or or ultra valuable, or, you know, anything like that. It's well played with. I mean, well played with to the point that the truck pegs had worn out. Anyway, so I'm very well pleased with this, and we will probably get countless more hours out of this. Alright guys, well, I am pleased as punch. For our returning subscribers, thank you. We could not do this without you. If you're not yet a subscriber, well, we're always doing shenanigans like this. Shenanigans has become kind of the motto for our channel. More shenanigans, to be exact. And so anyway, punch that subscribe button. I promise you, we are always doing something. It's a little different. I think you will enjoy it, especially if you enjoyed this. All right, guys. Well, you know, I'm feeling pretty happy. I've got a couple other things to do tonight, so I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter than what we would normally do. We got a couple of new trains that came into the house today. We're going to run them for you guys, and I think we're going to do that live. I don't think we've ever shown a new arrival live, but I think we're going to do that tonight, because I think that'll be pretty exciting. I'm up for it, and I think my phone is up for it tonight. I got the right cord finally, so hopefully we won't have any more audio issues. That got a little annoying. Okay, it got more than a little bit annoying. All right, anyway, enough about all that. GGS Railways out. Look at that caboose go!